When Caitlin walked into the Indiana training camp, the excitement was palpable. Everyone turned to look at her, filled with curiosity and hope. People started comparing her to the legendary Larry Bird, highlighting the high expectations and excitement surrounding Caitlin's game. Back in 1979, Larry Bird joined the Boston Celtics right after his college days at Indiana State. Before he arrived, the Celtics had just endured their worst season ever, finishing with a 23-59 record. But Bird's rookie season sparked a dramatic turnaround, with the Celtics achieving a 61-21 record and clinching the Atlantic Division title. This phenomenon became known as the Larry Bird effect. Could Caitlin Clark bring about a similar change for the Fever as Bird did for the Celtics? Last year, the Fever finished with a 13-27 record, and the year before, they had the worst record in the WNBA at 5-31. The potential for transformation is clear. Just as Bird took the Celtics from their worst season to division champions, Clark has the chance to revitalize the Fever. If she can replicate Bird's impact, she might lead the Fever back to playoff contention, something they haven't seen since Tamika Catching's last season in 2016.
That's new to me. I think no matter what is going to happen, there's always going to be expectations and pressure on my shoulders and pressure on this team to be really good, and that's how you want it. That's exactly, we wouldn't want anything else.
The excitement was palpable as the Indiana Fever kicked off their 2024 training camp at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The familiar sounds of sneakers on the court, swishing nets, and teammates communicating filled Salesforce Court as the Fever returned for their first day of on-court action. Most of the team was there, including stars like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, ready for an intense 2-day training camp. Head coach Christy Sides and her coaching staff wasted no time putting the players through their paces, evaluating their skills and chemistry. For Clark, this was her first official practice as a professional player, and she didn't disappoint. She showed the same talent and determination that earned her accolades in college, eager to make her mark in the WNBA. Despite the challenges and whirlwind of recent months, Clark was grateful for the opportunity to be back on the court with her teammates.
I say I'm a pro by any means, but it's been fun. I think it definitely has a big city feel, but at the same time, it feels small and it's easy to get around. I mean, I'm staying mostly in downtown Indianapolis. I'm not driving everywhere yet.
As the Fever geared up for their preseason games, Clark felt the pressure and excitement of playing at the professional level. She seemed ready to see what the team could achieve, confident in their abilities. Caitlin Clark is set to make her WNBA debut with the Fever in the 3rd week of May, but she wants to remind everyone that she's human, not a magician. As the top pick in a highly anticipated WNBA draft class, the weight of expectations is heavy, but she's handling it well. She's urged people not to expect miracles right away, emphasizing the importance of giving herself grace as she transitions to the pros. Clark acknowledges that perfection isn't realistic and that there will be challenges. She's not aiming to score 40 points per game from the start. Instead, she plans to learn from her teammates, enjoy the journey, and stay true to herself. The excitement around Caitlin is so strong that even her workout sessions have become viral sensations. During her first Indiana Fever workout on Tuesday, a 15-second clip of her shooting around quickly gained traction online. As the #1 pick in the recent WNBA draft, Clark showed her skills by going a perfect 5 for 5 in the video. This impressive performance follows her remarkable college career, where she became the NCAA's all-time leading scorer with 3,951 points at Iowa. Fever's training camp has captivated fans more than ever. During a scrimmage, Caitlin impressed everyone by dribbling past a male player and nailing a three-pointer. A fan posted a video of the play online, dubbing it, "Caitlin Clark broke his ankle." Due to how she faked out her opponent, teammate Erica Wheeler cheered her on with a playful "bye-bye boy" as the guy tried to keep up and nearly twisted his ankle. Dick's Sporting Goods even chimed in on social media, praising Erica for her support. Erica, who has been playing in the WNBA for 9 years, has been a big fan of Clark's from day one. Despite being a star and the top pick by the Fever from Iowa, Clark is still considered a rookie. Erica noted, "She's one of the best players in the world right now, but she's so humble. She's always asking for advice and trying to improve." Clark understands there's a big difference between college and professional basketball, but she's ready for the challenge. She's excited about the faster pace of the WNBA, saying it suits her style. "The coaches here have been watching me for a while and have some great plays lined up," Clark said. "I feel like I'm in good shape since I just played in the NCAA championship game." She's been keeping busy with basketball and feels confident and ready to make her mark in the WNBA. As Caitlin's fame continues to rise, Indiana is also seeing a boost in new advertising partnerships. The Indiana Fever, influenced by Caitlin Clark's selection, recently signed a major ad deal with Indiana-based pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly. This partnership introduces jersey ads to the WNBA, following a trend seen across various professional sports leagues. Starting this season, Eli Lilly's logo will appear on the left shoulder of Fever jerseys, highlighting the growing collaboration between sports and business in the state. Pacers Sports and Entertainment CEO Rick Fuson expressed excitement about the partnership, emphasizing its potential to bring attention to important issues such as support for female athletes and community health initiatives in Indiana.
Edub compared Indiana to Hollywood when we talked to her. I know the excitement has kind of followed you for a little while, but I'm curious your spin on that and Indiana in particular.
I'll agree with Edub there, I guess. I don't know.
The excitement surrounding Caitlin Clark is unprecedented, and fans are eager to see her off the court just as much as on it. Fans are gearing up to watch Caitlin Clark make her WNBA debut this Friday, with the Indiana Fever set to take on the Dallas Wings in a preseason game. Despite being an exhibition match, ticket prices have surged, even surpassing those for a crucial NBA playoff game in Clark's new hometown. As of Wednesday afternoon, the cheapest ticket for the Fever vs. Wings game was a whopping $595 on TickPick. Located in Section 209, Row MM at the College Park Center in Arlington, Texas, including all fees. These prices are comparable to many regular season NBA tickets, and notably higher than the entry price for Thursday night's Pacers-Bucks NBA playoff game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, which stood at $36 for the cheapest ticket on TickPick. The high ticket prices for the Fever Wings game can be attributed to the limited seating capacity at the College Park Center, which can only accommodate around 7,000 spectators. This situation has prompted several WNBA teams to upgrade their arena arrangements in anticipation of matches against the Indiana Fever. The Fever, in turn, hosted all their games that season at Gainbridge Fieldhouse after previously playing at the smaller Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Other WNBA teams, like the Las Vegas Aces and Washington Mystics, also shifted their home games against the Fever to larger NBA-sized arenas to meet the demand from fans. The WNBA's Dallas Wings experienced a historic moment as they sold out season tickets for the first time in the franchise's history just before their preseason opener against the Indiana Fever on May 3rd. The anticipation surrounding Caitlin Clark's debut with the Fever fueled a surge in ticket demand, driving up sales for the Dallas team. Individual ticket prices for Clark's preseason debut ranged from $210 to $350, with some exceeding $1,000 in certain sections. There are unlucky moments in the NBA, and then there are even worse ones, like missing a game-winning shot by just an inch or celebrating a bit too early. This video highlights some of those unfortunate moments. For example, all New Orleans needed was one defensive stop to win, but instead, a player accidentally tipped the ball into his own team's basket.
Incredible. That might be one of the most unbelievable things I've seen.
Goran Dragic was on defense when the ball took an unfortunate bounce.
Step forward. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
This fan decided to propose to his girlfriend in front of thousands of people, but things didn't go as planned. First, she tried to lean in and tell him it wasn't the right time. Then she just ran off. leaving the poor guy on center court doing the walk of shame with a mascot. If that's not unlucky, I don't know what is. And even Michael Jordan, the GOAT who rarely makes mistakes, has had his share of bad luck, like the time he went for a layup and the ball got stuck.
Oh, look at this!
In this play, not only does Steven Adams get scored on by the player he was guarding, but the ball also ended up in the most unfortunate spot after going in. Luckily, it didn't cost him the game, because with just 1 second left and the Heat down by 3, Bam Adebayo got the ball and tossed up a prayer.
There's the miss.
Oh,
Adebayo,
wow.
holy cow!
Wow.
That ball was just inches away from being the luckiest shot ever, but Glenn Davis was inches away from seriously hurting someone. He chased after a loose ball and ended up crashing into some fans. Imagine paying a ton of money for those seats, only to get flattened by a 300-pound player. Now, that's unlucky, but some fans have it even worse. Like this girl who bought courtside seats only to find herself sitting behind the tallest guy in the league, 7'6" Taco Fall. Seriously, either get her a booster seat or give her a refund. This is ridiculous. And speaking of ridiculous, James Harden once made a dunk that the refs didn't even count.
Oh, he missed it! No, that was good.
As the game was winding down, the Hawks needed a bucket to secure the win. But when Trae Young went to score, the ball got stuck on the rim. His teammates couldn't believe it. And speaking of disbelief, you won't believe what a referee did to Steph Curry. It was a perfect pass if the target was his face. Then there's Kemba Walker, who pulled up from 3 and started celebrating a bit too early. Honestly, I would have been dancing too. It looked like it was going in, and I could have sworn Baron Davis won the game for the Hornets with a buzzer-beating 3, but the refs ended up calling it off.
Davis at the buzzer! No, yes, no! It's waved off! Bernie Fryer says no, it will not count!
That ref must have been watching a completely different game because that shot should have counted. And speaking of shots that should have counted for something, this next one really should have. A fan had the chance to win 6 months of rent paid, and then this happened.
3, 2, 1. Oh, man.
I guess he's stuck paying that mortgage because this guy was left scratching his head after his free throw touched every part of the rim and somehow didn't go in. What more can you do? It was in twice and still missed. Sometimes, it's just not meant to be. Just ask Kevin Durant. The Nets needed a three-pointer to win the Eastern Conference semifinals, and when KD took his shot, he needed to be behind the three-point line, but instead, he stepped on it. So instead of winning the game, Brooklyn tied it and sent it to overtime, where they ended up losing. They were one pinky toe away from winning the series. That's a total bummer. But this next moment is just painful. Jalen Brunson got karate chopped by his own teammate.
Ooh, and a shot to the face of Brunson.
This Warriors fan was sitting courtside and ended up right in the splash zone. Blake knew exactly what he was doing, but karma caught up with him in Brooklyn when he ran into a brick wall, his own teammate.
Extra feet, oh wow. 2 Nets go down.
Blake, the guy was standing right in front of you, and you still ran into him. Come on, man. And speaking of common sense, this referee could have used some too. He got steamrolled by Devin Booker.
They want to be in the very near future.
All right, K-Ray. Booker making the steal, goes down hard, and he's still on the floor.
It seemed like Booker took the hit worse than the ref, but Sam Decker had it even rougher. He was gearing up for a wide-open dunk and ended up taking a seriously unlucky fall.
Was measuring his steps and everything, man. Yeah, there we go. But the ball hit him in the face twice. No, once. Just once.
Anthony Davis got caught slipping as well when he almost got injured by a mop.
AD, look out below. Finger roll. He was almost off balance when he left.
Yeah, and he slipped on the mop down there.
Things aren't looking good. Anthony might miss 3 months after that. Meanwhile, this fan is missing their beer because Kyle Lowry accidentally knocked it out of their hands.
Falling in that front row, the fans covered. Oh.
When Kyle Lowry is falling into your lap, you better move quickly, just like Carmelo Anthony did. With only 6 seconds left, he had to launch a shot to try to win the game, but this happened.
Anthony puts up a three, in and out.
During a jump ball, Darko Milicic accidentally put the ball into his own basket.
Tapped up and in.
After the jump ball with Darko Milicic.
The man was shocked, and so was Ken Bazemore. Even though he blocked Kyle Lowry's shot, the ball still went in.
Pick by Lowry. Piling up the blocks. There's Baze flying through the air, ends it, and then it goes up.
And right in the basket.
In this play, Jeremy Sochan should have been defending his face because he took a bullet pass from Russell Westbrook straight to the dome.
Lonnie was thinking about going a little back door that time for the jam.
In this game, Kobe took a shot that seemed destined to go in. He had the ball halfway down the basket, but it somehow popped out. It's like the basket's cursed or something. But this next moment is so unlucky, it should be in the Hall of Shame. A Sixers fan was chosen to shoot a half-court shot for a prize. And while in the past, some people have won TVs, brand new cars, or even $1 million, look at what this guy ended up winning.
If you make a half-court shot, everyone in here gets a Chick-fil-A biscuit. This is for anybody! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
This guy just made one of the toughest shots ever and ended up with a $3 biscuit. I really hope it came with butter, because that's rough. But let's move on to the final unlucky moment. During warm-ups, Kevin Durant was messing around and punched a ball into the air. When it came down, it landed in the unluckiest spot.
And it landed on somebody. You just see a bunch of people go surround the guy. And I saw an old man with a veteran's hat on. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. It hit his glasses. It cut the man. Kevin ran to the stands, profusely apologized, left. His security guy came back and apologized and invited the man to come back to the locker room. And when the guy talked to Kevin, he said, look, you better win the game now after doing that.
Kevin gave Grandpa some serious flashbacks with that move. That was a total fail.
Under 5 minutes to go in the first, it's Caitlin Clark. The ball's knocked loose, doesn't matter. 29 feet away, holding up from Alexandria. Boom. No problem.
Caitlin Clark just delivered the explosive performance we've all been waiting for. She nailed 7 3-pointers and scored over 30 points in front of a packed crowd of more than 20,000 fans, turning a dream scenario into reality for us supporters. In this remarkable game, Clark became just the second rookie in WNBA history to hit 7 3-pointers and reach a career-high 30 points. She matched Crystal Robinson's rookie 3-point record from 1999 and surpassed Tamika Catching's record of 6 from 2002, setting a new franchise record for the most 3-pointers by a rookie in a single game. Her standout performance not only led the Indiana Fever to an 85-83 victory over the Washington Mystics in the Commissioner's Cup, but also won over fans who had seen her struggle in earlier games. Moreover, she silenced critics who doubted her ability to adjust to the WNBA standards. The game, which was moved to Capital One Arena to accommodate the high demand to see the top draft pick, saw Clark shine in front of a record-breaking crowd of 20,333. This was the largest attendance for a WNBA game since the 2007 finals and the second best performance since 1999. Clark also added 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and a career-high 4 steals to her impressive stats.
At this time 1 week ago, we were gearing up for Caitlin Clark to go against Angel Reese for the first time in their WNBA careers. And by the time the Fever Sky game was over, the conversation had changed to Kennedy Carter's foul on Clark, a foul the WNBA would later upgrade to a flagrant foul 1 the very next day, and it was a foul that launched 1,000 takes.
Caitlin Clark has made history as just the second rookie to score over 30 points, grab more than 5 rebounds, dish out over 5 assists, and hit more than 5 3-pointers in a single game. She also became the fastest WNBA player to reach 200 points and 75 assists, achieving this in just 12 games and surpassing Sue Bird's record of 14 games. It felt great to shoot well. Even my misses felt close, Clark said after the game. It was nice to have a night like this. Overall, we shot the ball really well. 16 made threes. I still see so many areas where I can improve, and I think that goes for our entire team. Clark is determined to maintain her high level of play, knowing she hasn't reached her peak yet. Her standout performance also led the Fever to deliver the Mystics their 11th consecutive loss, marking the worst start in the franchise's history. Kelsey Mitchell, Clark's backcourt partner, added 16 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Both Aaliyah Boston and Nalissa Smith contributed 10 points each. The team secured their second Commissioner's Cup win, moving to a 2-1 record in the competition. However, despite her impressive performance, Clark is still dealing with some rookie challenges, including leading the league in turnovers. She had 8 more turnovers in this game, bringing her season total to 67. Interestingly, she matched her career high of 30 points from May 28th against the Los Angeles Sparks. Along with her 6 assists, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals, she made 7 of 13 three-point attempts, tying a WNBA rookie record, and hit 5 consecutive shots from beyond the arc in the second half.
Yeah, I think it's a process more than anything. It felt good to shoot the ball well. Like, I feel like even my misses were like right there. I thought multiple were still going in, and it was nice to have a night like that.
Clark's confidence in her game is evident from recent performances. Earlier, she discussed the learning curve she faced in her first 11 professional games. After scoring just 3 points in a season-low performance against the New York Liberty on Sunday, Clark rebounded with what many consider the best game of her young WNBA career, thanks to a 4-day break. During this time off, Clark mentioned that the Fever took the opportunity to refine their set plays and practice against ball screen blitzes that had been challenging them. Against the Mystics, Clark found space to create off those screens, explaining, "As a shooter, once you see 1 or 2 shots go in, the basket just seems bigger and bigger." Indiana head coach Christy Sides noted that the strategy to get Clark more action off screens was deliberate, aiming to reduce her workload. "She started feeling it late, which is always a good sign," Sides said. Defensively, Clark made an impact with a steal under the Washington basket to ignite a transition bucket in the first half and added another steal shortly after. By halftime, she had 4 assists and 3 steals, energizing the fans. Playing against the struggling Washington Mystics, who have 11 losses this season, also gave Clark a chance to look more at ease on the court. She mentioned before the game that she felt her passing was up to her standard, even as she and her Fever teammates continue to build their chemistry. Clark is also satisfied with her rebounding stats, considering her size. The 2-time NCAA Player of the Year came into Friday's game averaging 15.6 points, 6.4 assists, 5.1 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and a league-high 5.4 turnovers per game. Clark believes that as the game slows down for her, those turnovers will decrease. To reduce turnovers, Clark showcased her ball handling skills with a smooth one-handed drive and a scoop shot for 2 points in the first quarter. On the next Fever possession, she demonstrated her court vision with a give and go with second-year forward and 2023 top draft pick Aaliyah Boston. Despite this, some flaws in Clark's game from the first 6 weeks of her professional career were evident on Friday. In the first quarter, she was stripped by fellow rookie Julie Van Loo, who then hit a transition three-pointer before Clark could recover. Clark responded with a step-back three-pointer near the Mystics logo. With the Fever starting 3s in 9, Clark is gaining a clearer understanding of how much experience counts in the WNBA. She offered some realistic insights into her situation, noting, if you're the number 1 pick, you're probably going to a team that didn't have the best year before. It can be tough at times. One of the positives from the first 11 games has been the team's energy, which Clark says has remained consistent since their first game. Recently, Clark has been more in the media spotlight, particularly after taking hard fouls from the Chicago Sky's Chennedy Carter, which the league later upgraded to a flagrant foul. Clark addressed the controversy before Friday's game and stated she wasn't seeking an apology from Carter. While Carter faced criticism from fans upon the Sky's arrival in D.C., Clark's performance highlighted her resilience and ability to rise above the situation.
And she's having a tremendous season. She's played great basketball in my eyes, probably in first place for 6th player of the year. And, it's just basketball at the end of the day. There's no grudges. There's nothing like that. It's a sport. It's competitive. It's not going to be nice all the time. That's not what basketball is. And I think people that play that at the highest level understand that.
Clark acknowledged that she was fully aware of the physical challenges she would face in the WNBA. Maybe some people didn't understand the circumstances, she said. Clark continued, "You're starting a new chapter and a new phase of your career as a professional athlete. It's not going to click overnight. That's just not how it works." Clark has been emphasizing this since the beginning of her WNBA career, but both she and her fans are well aware of her exceptional talent and quick learning abilities. She plays in front of sold-out crowds in large arenas, and the excitement only seems to grow with each game. Caitlin Clark's talent is undeniable, and she's been proving it from her very first games. Even the biggest names in history need time to showcase their full potential, especially in major leagues like the NBA and WNBA. As Clark continues to get acclimated to the WNBA, her mindset and skills are being honed to make her an even more formidable player. Her quick learning ability is evident in her evolving perspectives. Before her debut as a rookie, Clark didn't see much difference between the NCAA and the WNBA. "I don't think it'll be any different from college," Clark said. "I've played in front of big crowds every single game, so these environments don't scare me or affect me at all. I think just embrace it and enjoy it. I'm sure there will be a lot of basketball fans here who really appreciate the game." However, her perception shifted after her first game. She has since admitted several times that the WNBA game is much more physical than she anticipated. She experienced this physicality firsthand during the Indiana Fever's 3rd straight loss on Saturday. "The physicality is definitely up there. I'm easily pushed off screens," Clark told reporters. "The game seems a little fast for me right now, but the more I play and the more comfortable I get, it's going to slow down a bit. It'll be easier for me to make reads and see things develop." Clark is quickly adapting to the game, showing significant improvement with each match. On Monday, the Fever nearly secured a win, but narrowly lost 88-84 to the Connecticut Sun. Clark scored 17 points, hitting 5 of 11 shots and making all 4 free throws. Despite injuring her ankle, she played for 27 minutes, adding 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and 5 turnovers. Although the Fever lost, the game was a clear sign of their progress. Veteran guard Kelsey Mitchell, who started the season with an ankle injury, has been regaining her form, which has benefited Clark. In the final moments of Monday's game, Clark played a key role, contributing to 17 of the Fever's 23 fourth-quarter points. The excitement surrounding Caitlin Clark is at an all-time high, and for good reason. Some frustrated fans have even edited the Wikipedia page of Indiana head coach Christy Sitz following Clark's first 2 WNBA preseason games. Clark played in 2 preseason matches for the Fever, but has not yet participated in a regular season game. Fans are already expressing their dissatisfaction with side's management of Clark, who is expected to be a key player in the WNBA. Clark had a strong preseason debut against the Dallas Wings, but shot 4 for 12 in last Thursday's game against the Atlanta Dream. Sides commented on Clark's performance, saying, "I think she's used to some shots that she's taken in the last few years that are just those shots she's going to get open looks. She's got to figure it out. I gave her a rule the other day. She has 0.5 seconds to make a decision." Christy Sides also talked about Clark needing to change some habits. When she gets off the ball and hits someone in the high post, she tends to hang out and dance around. That's something she's used to doing, and it's a habit we need to break. One of Clark's upset fans even accused Sides of trying to undermine Clark's game. editing Side's Wikipedia page to claim she's the only coach capable of damaging what the WNBA aims to achieve with Clark. The edited entry in the Indiana Fever section reads, Sides got her first head coaching job in 2022 when she was hired as the 9th head coach in Indiana Fever franchise history and the only coach that could possibly ruin what the WNBA is on track to accomplish by ruining Caitlin Clark's game. During Caitlin Clark's pre-game warm-up in Brooklyn on Saturday, she paused for an interview with NBC's Today hosts Hoda Kotb and Jenna Bush Hager. Later, she posed in uniform with Trailblazer Billie Jean King. In between, Clark played a game, scoring a career-high 22 points with 8 assists and 6 rebounds. Notable figures like Jason Sudeikis, Megan Rapinoe, Sue Bird, and Dawn Staley watched as she dominated the court. Clark's first week in the WNBA highlighted both her star power and the challenges of transitioning from college to the pros. She debuted in Connecticut and Indianapolis, and following her first game in New York City, she received mixed reactions. Fans eagerly awaited wearing number 22 shirts and holding signs, and Clark tried to accommodate as many selfie and autograph requests as possible. Caitlin acknowledged that she needs to handle physicality better, be more decisive in navigating screens, and develop more chemistry with Indiana's posts. She assisted last year's Rookie of the Year, Aaliyah Boston, on 4 of Boston's 12 field goals in 2023. Indiana guard Erica Wheeler assisted Boston on 24% of her field goals, according to PBP stats. Clark's assists to Boston haven't been evenly distributed across games. The Fever knows they have much to improve on as a team. Through 3 games, they are allowing 18 fast break points and 17.3 second chance points per game, both second highest in the WNBA, a significant drop from last year. Their defense is conceding more than 116 points per 100 possessions, the worst in the league. Failing to contest shooters in the first half of their loss to New York on Saturday was as damaging as any offensive issues. Clark often talks about the importance of being kind to herself. She's seen both the ups and downs of being a pro, becoming the first WNBA player to record 21 turnovers in their first 21 games, and the second after Candace Parker to achieve over 50 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds, according to Across the Timeline. I know people expect me to do amazing things, but it might take some time, she said on Tuesday. On Saturday, she added, I think the more we play together, the better our chemistry will be. Despite the Fever's 0-3 start, Coach Christy Sides noted progress. The team faced tough losses, including a 21-point defeat to Connecticut and a 36-point blowout on Thursday. Before Saturday's game, Sides stressed the need to compete and asked her team to understand what that looks and feels like. The 11-point loss to New York showed more of the fight Sides wanted. We couldn't figure that out the other night, and that was so frustrating, Sides said. Now we kind of have an idea of where we are. The Fever are a young team with potential, competing against some of the WNBA's best. This is going to take a little time, All-Star guard Kelsey Mitchell said on Saturday. Mitchell, recovering from an ankle injury, came off the bench in Indiana's first 2 games. Playing against the best of the best is the only way we're going to get better. During one sequence in the second quarter on Saturday, Clark missed a deep 3-pointer, giving the ball back to Liberty. On New York's next offensive possession, Ionescu faked a pass, then nailed a 3 while Clark failed to contest. Running back on defense, Ionescu shrugged as if to say Clark shouldn't have left her open. She never stops moving, Clark said of Ionescu. She's always on the move, always got a bounce in her feet, and I think that's something I can try to replicate in my game. Clark is getting used to her new pro routine. At Iowa, the Hawkeyes would sometimes show up 90 minutes before tip-off, warm up, and play. But for Tuesday's opener at Mohegan Sun Arena, she arrived more than 2 hours early. In the locker room, Clark ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and joked with Wheeler while getting a massage. She's not used to being at the gym this early, so I told her she needs to find things to do, whether that's stretching, watching film, or filling the time, Wheeler said. Clark hasn't had much downtime, as Indiana's opening stretch includes 7 games in 12 days, with matchups against the Sun, Seattle Storm, and Las Vegas Aces in the next week. When asked about her activities outside of basketball, Clark said, "I'm about to move into my apartment, so I'm moving out of the hotel. That's fun." Veteran Fever Center Mika Catchings praised Clark's composure, saying, "I'm so proud of how she is as a person. I just hope we can band around her. It's a lot of pressure." Clark, handling pressure from both her team and the sport, is focused on playing fast and competing. She looks forward to visiting new arenas and making memories. This is a 1 in a billion chance, but there are some incredibly rare moments in the NBA, like the most insane game winner. One of the most impossible dribbles.
LeBron tries in. Oh,
Everything you see in this video is exceptionally rare. First, we've got Austin Reeves making a last-second shot that stunned everyone.
End to the second quarter, and the Lakers back up by 10. Let's go to Lisa.
He came in, nailed that three-pointer, and even hit a fan. That's a 1 in a trillion moment. JaVale McGee pulled off one of the rarest blocks you'll ever see when he swatted the ball with one hand.
Oh, McGee just grabs it.
I told you, he's fun to watch.
What a block.
Andrew Wiggins pulled up from the wing and made an unbelievable shot.
Draymond slips the screen. Wiggins from the wing. Oh, it did a victory lap.
LeBron has had some of the most extraordinary moments ever, but I've never seen him just stand there while cheerleaders danced around him. It almost looks like his controller died. Meanwhile, Indiana Pacer fans had their own wild moment when a bat flew into the arena and no one could catch it.
Is that a bat? And guys, everybody's a little leery.
Yeah, everybody is. You can see it right there flying across the floor. Where's Boomer?
At just 6 feet 2 inches, Gary Payton went up for a jump ball against the 7'1" Jonas Valanciunas and pulled off this move.
Kane Fitzgerald throws it high enough. Payton has great vertical. Look at Payton trying to move his hand. And Payton won it. GP2, young glove. He was excited about that one too.
I'd be thrilled too if I outjumped a giant, but I wouldn't be too happy about what Jeff Green did. He actually dunked the ball on his own head.
Because that's going to be important.
Doc saying that went in and hit one of the Knicks players on the head.
The guy gave himself a facial. You don't see that every day. And you also don't see shots like Corey Brewer's. After getting fouled by a defender, he took a shot from behind the backboard, and this happened.
Allison waiting to check in for Oklahoma City. Brewer hits the deck, and they're going to count that basket.
That guy's lucky the backboard is on his side, because it definitely isn't a fan of Danny Green. Green took a three-pointer that bounced around the rim and ended up sitting on top of the basket. I'm not sure how that even happens. Meanwhile, Spencer Dinwiddie tried to tip a loose ball to a teammate and ended up scoring by accident.
Tipped out again and up and in by Dinwiddie.
Of course, he played for the Wizards and knows a bit about magic, but this commentator had a talent for ruining clutch moments, as he mistook an air ball from Trevor Ariza for a game-winning three.
Beal driving, kicks it out. Ariza, baseline, dagger!
Wow.
Ariza from the baseline for three, and the Wizards with a miraculous comeback in Washington. They're saying it did not go.
Okay.
Well, from our angle, it looked like it dropped straight through, but clearly.
I have to admit, I thought that shot went in too. And I used to think Russell Westbrook was just a basketball player, but it turns out he has another role, mopping the court during his own game.
Situations offensively, as Russ is
It's
doing a
just
little bit of house cleaning.
You know what? If you want the job done right, reminds me of the All-Star game in New York a couple years ago, where he did.
Now we need to discuss Marc Gasol, because he managed to knock Clint Capella's shoe right off the court.
Clint Capella loses his shoe.
And technical foul called on Marc Gasol for kicking the shoe.
That referee is really off his game, but honestly, all the refs seem to be. This one even ejected Anthony Davis just for tying his shoes.
I don't understand how you can lose your shoe. They don't strap him up very tight.
Oh, AD's been tossed. He's out of the game. They let him play on before AD could put the shoe on.
What does the ref expect him to do? play barefoot? I'm not sure, but I do know that James Harden ended up playing on one foot. After injuring his ankle, he took one of the most unusual looking free throws ever. I wouldn't advise shooting like this guy though. He actually pulled up from behind the backboard.
Meeks on the drive, looking to draw contact, and it counted and one.
I'd challenge him to make that shot again, but I wouldn't challenge anyone to pull off a play like this. Najee Marshall made one of the worst passes I've ever seen.
Wes has gotten 17 minutes off the bench. What in the heck?
Tony Allen went for a layup and ended up getting the ball stuck on the ramp.
The roll, the follow. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? It's gonna stick.
The ball essentially stopped being a ball in the middle of the play. While getting a layup stuck is uncommon, having an alley-oop get stuck is unheard of.
6.8 rebounds, 4.7 assists per game. Lob it up. Dunk attempt, wedgie. That doesn't happen.
You come across something new every day in the NBA. For example, the Raptors once had two players block a shot simultaneously.
Tatum! Denied!
The Raptors had me seeing double, but Vince Carter had me seeing triple. He launched a full court shot, and it actually went in.
Last shot here. Vince.
Let's be honest, that shot had no business going in. I'm surprised it even got close. Meanwhile, this pass from Amare Stoudemire missed badly.
Stoudemire throws it to him and sitting there courtside.
Who is he even passing to? A ghost? It seems like some NBA players make baffling decisions. Like this guy who tried to check into the game without a jersey.
To be fair, he had been injured. He hadn't played in 3 months, and there was it. When he took off his warm-up, it looked like it came off with it.
What on earth is he thinking? It's probably the same thing DeMar DeRozan is, because this guy passed the ball right to the other team's bench.
35 points in the period as DeRozan throws it away, and this one.
Honestly, that's not even DeRozan's fault. Sure, Joakim Noah was wearing the same colors and trying to trick him, but there's no fooling Steven Adams. This guy can do the unbelievable. One time, he got fouled so hard that he broke his shooting hand, but instead of leaving the game, he walked up to the free throw line and gave it his all.
Cheering him on. He wants to stay in the game.
How about that?
In 2006, David Lee stunned everyone. With just 0.1 seconds left in the second overtime, the Knicks were tied with the Bobcats at 109. 109 when suddenly,
as they throw it at the basket.
he made it just in time, proving that in the NBA, everything can shift in the blink of an eye. The Nuggets mascot learned this the hard way when he tried to dunk off a trampoline to impress the crowd. And suddenly, Mutombo is a real menace. He even threw the ball at him, which is basically assault.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
The trolls are acting without class and are trending on Twitter after LSU star Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark with John Cena's "You can't see me" gesture after their win. Not just fans, but also sports commentator Keith Olbermann criticized Reese with a harsh tweet, calling her an I-word and warning her about the backlash that comes with messing with a new star who attracts thousands of new fans to basketball. It all began with these two basketball players, Reese from LSU and Clark from Iowa, becoming household names for sports fans with their record-breaking performances in the March Madness tournament. The NCAA's most valuable players seemed to have a tense relationship, with Reese alleging that Clark had disrespected several of her friends and teammates throughout the tournament. Here's a breakdown of the two stars and their rivalry. Reese and Clark faced off in the championship game, where Reese's LSU Tigers ultimately triumphed with a 102-85 win. In the game's final moments, viewers saw Reese respond to Clark's taunts, which drew significant online criticism. Reese mimicked Cena's "you can't see me" gesture and pointed to her ring finger, signaling their championship victory, all while staring Clark down. During their post-game press conferences, both players addressed the situation. Clark, displaying her sportsmanship, responded to questions about Reese's taunts by saying, "Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line, shake hands, and express gratitude that my team was in that position." She emphasized the importance of holding one's head high and being proud of their achievements. This is how a star beloved by fans reacts. On the other hand, Angel Reese had a different take. In her post-game interview, Reese acknowledged Clark as a hell of a player, but noted that Clark had disrespected her teammate Alexis Morris during the title game. Reese made it clear that she doesn't take disrespect lightly. Since their post-game interviews, both Reese and Clark have addressed the discussions surrounding their taunts. Speaking with ESPN, Clark defended Reese, saying, "I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. No matter which way it goes, she should never be criticized for what she did." Clark further demonstrated her class, stating, "I think everybody knew there was going to be a little trash talk throughout the entire tournament. It's not just me and Angel." Despite her tearful post-game interview, Clark spoke to ESPN, acknowledging that the LSU Tigers rightfully earned their NCAA championship over her team. "LSU deserved it. They played so well, and like I said, I'm a big fan of hers," Clark said of Reese. Clark's behavior off the court is truly exemplary. She always takes the time to appreciate other players, even though she rarely gets the same recognition in return. ESPN reported that Dr. Jill Biden was thinking about inviting both teams from the title game to the White House. This would be the first time the runner-ups were included in the celebratory visit. "So, I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do," Jill said, according to CNN. "We hope LSU will come, but you know, I'm going to tell Joe I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game." Reese shared the link to ESPN's story and added a joke with 3 laughing emojis, saying, "Can you see the jealousy and the hate?"
Really need to recognize what's going on, the success of the league, and when it comes to Caitlin Clark, they need to quit being quote-unquote petty and hating on Caitlin. And they just can't do it. Angel Reese just can't do it.
The First Lady eventually decided against inviting both teams, but the damage had already been done, according to Reese and the LSU Tigers. Stuff like that bothers me because, at the end of the day, you're a woman and you're supposed to be standing behind us, Reese said on the I Am Athlete podcast. "It's hard to see things like that and not comment back on it." Reese continued, "I'm not going to lie to you. I don't accept the apology. You can't take back certain things you say. You felt like they should have come because of sportsmanship, right? They can have that spotlight. We'll go to the Obamas. I'm going to see Michelle. I'm going to see Barack." Reese's comments sparked reactions from Caitlin's fans, who roasted Reese as a result. After the Chicago Sky beat the New York Liberty 90-81 on Thursday night, Reese, a former LSU star, appeared to take a dig at Caitlin Clark in a now-deleted tweet. Reese has been crucial to the Chicago Sky's success, contributing an impressive 35 points in 2 of the first 3 victories of the season. Following their latest win, Reese tweeted, "And that's on getting a win in a packed area, not just because of one player on our charter flight," which many speculated was aimed at Clark, the standout rookie for the Fever. Clark's transition to the professional level has undeniably contributed to the growth of the WNBA, bringing in charter flights for the league. Several basketball fans did not take kindly to Reese's comment. One fan mocked her college GPA, saying, "That 1.8 GPA showing LOL," while another said, "Angel should be thankful to Caitlin Clark because she's the main reason behind the great attention the WNBA's getting right now. She should be more grateful." Others looked forward to June 1st when Reese would face Clark's team, with one fan asking, "Why is she so obsessed with Clark? I haven't seen Clark bring up Reese once." Other fans labeled many women players as haters of Clark, noting, "It's truly amazing how much these women hate Clark, LOL." Reese's profile rose because of the rivalry. Otherwise, she might have been just another WNBA player. One fan even challenged the vague meaning of her tweet, saying, "What did she say? I read the tweet 10 times and still can't understand what she's trying to say." Despite the intense competition and scrutiny surrounding their games, Reese has tried to show some respect for Clark. In April's highly anticipated LSU-Iowa March Madness matchup, Reese clarified that there was no animosity between her and Clark. After LSU's loss to Iowa in the Elite Eight, the two players shared a hug in the handshake line, with Reese whispering encouraging words to Clark. Reese revealed that Clark told her to continue being a great player, and Reese reciprocated by encouraging Clark to keep elevating the game and win it. This moment highlighted the respect and admiration they have for each other as athletes, despite their fierce competition on the court. Both players have admitted that their rivalry isn't personal. Reese explained that outside the game, they can be friendly and supportive of each other. She acknowledged that people often misinterpret their competitive nature as hatred, but in reality, they respect each other and understand the nature of the game. However, recent events paint a different picture. Reese recorded an impressive stat line with 17 points and 20 rebounds in 36 minutes before fouling out with under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. On the other hand, Clark delivered a stellar performance, finishing with 41 points, including 9 three-pointers, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block, leading Iowa to the Final Four.
It is still a team game, and but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills.
LeBron James has chosen to focus on the positive impact Caitlin Clark is having on the WNBA in her rookie season, despite the early struggles and criticism faced by players like Angel Reese. James praised Clark for boosting interest and viewership in women's basketball, highlighting her significant contributions to the sport's growth. "The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport is that more people want to watch, more people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Caitlin Clark is the reason a lot of great things are going to happen for the WNBA," James said. James is absolutely right. Clark's impact is substantial. She is a major reason behind the increased viewership and support for women's basketball. Her arrival in the WNBA has led to more nationally televised games and the introduction of charter flights for WNBA teams, changes that players like Angel Reese might not like because they envy Caitlin's stardom. Share your thoughts about Clark's growing stardom in the comments below.